Hi, it's Nicola Bird here from alittlepeaceofmind.co.uk. So I often get asked questions about, so what do I do about my anxiety? What do I do about my physical symptoms? What do I do about whether I can go out of the house or not? What do I do about my work? What do I do about my boss? What do I do about my kids? What do I do about my health? What do I do about my thinking when I get revved up about my health? What do I do about my thinking about my husband? And I was on a training course the other day and I just heard something that summed it up so beautifully that I wanted to share with you. So the teacher that we were listening to was sharing something beautiful about how human beings work, about how all of us work. And it was pretty mind-blowing, and it was really confusing, and it was really beautiful, but I didn't understand it. And many people on the training I could see were feeling the same. It was kind of a new level of understanding for me about how all human beings work, that I was like, wow, oh my goodness. And one of the participants asked a question, and she said, so while I'm in this conversation and I don't really understand what you're talking about, it's just business as usual over here, right? And I just thought, yes, that's how I wanted to describe it to you guys. So business as usual for you is, I don't know, not going to work, avoiding motorways, going to the doctor all the time about your health, falling out with your kids and your husband, right? That's kind of how you've bumped into this conversation with all of that stuff going on, right? Migraines, not sleeping at night, whatever, right? Sorry, I don't mean to be dismissive, but like whatever, right? That's business as usual. And what happens is that as I'm sharing you what I've seen about how human beings work, right? And that's growing all the time, what I see more and more and more over here. We don't need to concern ourselves with the day-to-day aspects of your lives, your thoughts, your feelings. I know they feel like they're the burning issue, but honestly, we have a conversation over here about what anxiety is, where it really comes from, where our insecure thought comes from, who we are underneath and before all of that. We have a conversation here about human beings, and this stuff is going to start changing all on its own. So some of you have heard my podcast where I was talking to a colleague of mine, Karen. I'm going to give you an example of this. So for years and years and years and years, I've been going on diets and trying to lose weight and struggling and doing exercise classes and beating myself up for not doing exercise classes and being hungry so much of the time and counting points and calories and weighing myself every day and oh my God, like crazy stuff. In fact, I didn't even realize how much I was doing it, right? So I have sought the advice of experts many times about business as usual for me. So the dieting, what I weigh, blah, 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 right? All that stuff over here. And I have been looking over here for a solution for how do I lose weight? I have a conversation with my colleague Karen. She's pointing me over here. She's teaching me something about that I had a missing piece that I had about thought and about the link between our thoughts and our bodies. And it doesn't even matter what it was, right? But she was sharing something over here. And in 1 millisecond, I heard something that shifted my understanding over here fundamentally, forever, irrevocably, rewired all the synapses in my brain. And now when I look over here, my eating has changed. My thinking about eating has vanished. My ideas about what I should and shouldn't do and what's necessary and all that, they've completely vanished. So my business as usual is showing up in my life and no longer thinking about food at all, apart from because I'm talking to you about it now. It's gone. And as a result, my eating habits, I'm sure if I were to document them, have changed. Like I just feel that they have. I also know, as a weird side effect, because I checked this morning because I wanted to be able to tell you before I got on this video, like I've shifted some pounds, but I don't care anymore. And that's all, that was not business as usual for me. But that has all changed as a result of seeing something over here. So this is what I do with my clients, right? Like my clients show up with symptoms and behaviors, and they've tried for years and years and years, and this is probably you watching this video now, tried for years and years to manage the behaviors, to manage your breathing, to manage your heart rate, to manage your thinking, right, over here. When all the time the solution's over here. The solution lies in a shift in consciousness, a shift in understanding about how human beings work. So this is what I teach my clients about. I teach them about peace of mind, mental health, where that resides, and show them things they just have forgotten. And then they look over here, and like me, you start driving on motorways, you start taking your kids away on holidays, you start doing things that for you were impossible, you start public speaking, you start doing meetings and traveling and doing things that were just not part of business as usual. But suddenly they now are. How did that happen? Well, the best explanation, like something over here shifted, which means that the world outside you changes and shifts without you having to do anything. Magic. Best way I have of describing it. But it's so much simpler than you think. We don't need to tackle any of that. We don't need to spend a second talking about any of that. And for some of you, that will be a huge relief, because that is all you've been talking about, documenting, writing down for years, probably. Buying books on how to manage this stuff better. You don't need to do it, right? Like, we can look over here, have some shifts in a fundamental understanding, and it changes everything. I hope that's brought you some hope. I hope that's made you go, huh? I never really thought about it that way. And I'll be back with you soon for another video.